This is Logan Wedgwood from Baseball BC. I'm here with new head coach for the Everett Aquasox, Boyd. Thanks for having me in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it, man.
So first off, I was just curious to find out your time in the PBL, how that might have shaped you, how that might have helped you, move on into the future, situate you, get you ready for, U of A baseball.
PBL was a huge help for me. I was extremely lucky to have the coaches that were able to impact my career as a player and as a person from the grassroots level. Guys like John Haar, Brooks McNiven, Larson Bauk, they were all huge parts of my development, and a lot of high school kids aren't that fortunate to have people like that in their lives that really care about them, not just getting them wins for the program, but really develop you as a person. And I was fortunate enough to have that, and I try and, whenever I'm home in the winter, I try and sneak by Inside Performance where guys are usually training and talk to guys and help guys out, because it's really a family atmosphere, and that's something that I really love about PBL and the North Shore Twins especially. And so yeah, it prepared me really well, instilled in me all the really good work habits and caring about the person next to you, and beyond grateful for that.
Yeah, so your time in the PBL, getting that experience and that coaching, and then allowing you to develop your game to move you on to a provincial team standpoint where you got to represent Team British Columbia at tournaments like the Canada Cup 17U. How might tournaments like that have affected your future going into the game and developing yourself?
Those tournaments were huge. There was always something that was on my list of things that I wanted to accomplish. I remember in the Canada Cup I had a broken toe and torn ligaments that I didn't know about until after. So I was hobbling around out there, and I was kind of bitter about it because I feel like I didn't play as well as I would hoped and didn't make Team Canada or anything like that, which usually for BC players, that's where your chance is. But what a great atmosphere Baseball BC gives, and the Canada Cup is such an awesome environment for competition and to get noticed, especially now. It seems to be growing over and more every single year. There's more guys I see in D1 and getting drafted, and it's something that I'm proud to say that I was a part of, for sure, because there's guys that I meet and guys that I've interacted with that have been a part of the same things, and it's really cool to see other people with the same experiences and having success down the road.
A little broken toe and still hitting 280 and hitting leadoff, eh? That's impressive. You got any favorite memories from back when PBL days, Canada Cup days, that kind of stuff?
Honestly, one of my favorite memories was in grade 9. I was called up to the senior team just for the playoffs, and I was just a fly on the wall, and every once in a while I would come in for a defensive replacement in the last inning or whatever. And that year we won on a walk-off, and it was just being a part of that, not even for the whole year, that group of guys. George Helene was a big part of that, and he's doing big things I think in Toronto for PBR. Keaton Briscoe, he was someone that I really looked up to growing up. He was a phenomenal player, and it was just such a great group of guys, and the celebration was awesome, and just being a part of a John Haar-led team who's an absolute legend in Baseball BC and Baseball Canada. So that was one of my big memories. And then senior year, we went on a run in the playoffs in the Final Four. We lost in the final, but just the family that I talked about earlier and the brothers, I still talk to guys that I played with from that year and everything. So it's just memories on memories. It's pretty sweet.
So you transition from the PBL with all these friendships, and you go to Cochise for a couple of years, and then you head on over to U of A and you make the College World Series, right?
Yeah.
How was that experience?
The College World Series was phenomenal. It's incredibly hard to explain because you get put in an awesome hotel. You got charter flights, like the food's unbelievable. You get meal money, and the stadium is ridiculous. It's a breathtaking experience, and the fact that we were able to make it for so long in the tournament, those experiences kept getting expanded and the memories kept getting deeper and more satisfying, and what an awesome team that was. That's something I'll never forget. I get I get a lot of crap from staff members and old teammates about how much University of Arizona stuff that I wear still, but even being there for only 2 years, it's such an awesome place to play baseball and grow, and just everything about that place. I'll always be super proud and talk about them and follow them because it's such a big spot in my heart.
Absolutely. I mean, if you go to one of the best universities for baseball, I feel like you have to wear the apparel. Right?
Yeah.
So fast forward, 2017, you get drafted, play 2 years in the minor leagues, and then now you're the manager, or I guess first you moved to Modesto as an infield coach.
Yeah.
What kind of propelled that transition from player to coach at such a young age?
So my minor league career was very average, in my opinion. Maybe I wasn't someone that really thought highly of myself as a player, but I thought highly that I could make the people around me better. And it was fun playing, but my passion for it started to decrease a little bit, and my passion for helping the boys around me was climbing every day. And I had great teammates in my short career in the pros, and every single second I could have to help them get better at one little thing, I gained so much more happiness and gratitude from that than hitting a double or a home run in a pro game. So that spoke a lot to me, and I took a lot of time to really think about what I wanted to do in life and what I could see myself doing in 5 years from now. And I really felt that coaching would put me in a really good spot personally, and I would be able to get a lot more out of that career because I get so much more out of helping others and seeing other people succeed rather than myself. And what a better place than the Mariners org. It's such an awesome environment for development and positivity, and making sure that it's individualized, specific plans just for these players to get better. And I don't know how things worked out, how they did. It's just keeping your head down and working hard and trying to help others get better as much as possible. And the opportunities have basically just presented itself, and I'm just trying to enjoy every moment.
Being younger than most of the other coaches and being close to the same age as a lot of the players that you're working with, how do you feel on a personal level with the players and your relationship with them, how that might be different from an older coach or someone who has been in the coach's room for 20, 30 years kind of thing?
Right, definitely different, but in my opinion, at least so far, it's been an absolute advantage for me because these guys know that I was in their shoes a year ago. They know that I know how hard the game is and how much your body takes a toll during a long season. I know when to give guys days off because they need it. They feel comfortable enough to come in and say that they're not feeling great, and I give them a day and then they're feeling good. Whether it's a stricter manager or an older manager, maybe they don't feel that comfort level, and then their play decreases for no reason when all they needed was a day off or even just a DH slot. So the communication between the players has been phenomenal because of my age, and a lot of people try and find ways to see it as a bad thing, but obviously having experience as a manager holds a great deal of importance, and I understand that, and I know that I have a lot to learn as a manager, but just from a relationship standpoint and communication standpoint and making sure everyone is in a really good situation to succeed and they can communicate with me whenever they want, it's been an absolute advantage, and I'm super lucky for that. And I cherish those relationships with these guys because that's, like I said, that's what's the most important thing to me. I want to see these guys succeed.
So have you felt any hindrances or obstacles being at this age, or has it been mostly smooth sailing so far?
I wouldn't say like smooth sailing, but being able to have a present mindset, which is something we preach in the Mariners, and really just being where your feet are and enjoying the moment and helping others around you, that makes a lot of this easier than others may seem. If you're really focused on where you're at and doing a really good job so others can succeed, everything for the most part usually falls into place. Of course, there's going to be some obstacles. Guys are going to get hurt. You make a wrong decision in a game, some guys get upset. That happens, but thanks to all the good communication throughout the team, throughout the staff, everything has worked itself out pretty well. And we've got about a month left in the year, so the boys seem to be in a really good spot, and we're ready to play some really good baseball.
So, first series was a couple weeks back. First game as a manager happens to be in your hometown of Vancouver. Let's just walk through some of the emotions that you had going through that game.
That was probably the most nerve-wracking day of my life. Way more nerve-wracking than playing in the College World Series or first game at U of A or whatever, first game in the pros. Way, like, times 5. It was having family and friends in the crowd, hearing the Canadian national anthem, which I rarely get to hear anymore, playing and coaching in the States. But my heart rate was through the roof. Didn't want to make a mistake, wanted to make sure we were playing well, and the guys were phenomenal that night. We had some timely hitting. The players do all the work. They pulled out a great win for us that night, and being able to hug my family and friends after and get some pictures and just really have those people to enjoy the moment with and share the experience with, means so much to me. And I know that's completely your luck of the draw, that this is where I started, but being able to share that first win with so many family and friends is everything.
So you did have a lot of family and friends out. How many would you say? 30?
There was like 20 that night.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Have you had any surprises so far? Anything that you didn't expect? I know when I was playing, I would think I knew what was happening on the other side of the game, but once you get to that other side, things get exposed that you're not really sure. Like, you just didn't know that it worked that way, kind of thing. Is there any surprises that you've experienced on the other side of the game?
I think it's just really being cognizant of thinking ahead and trying to predict situations before they happen, so you're not caught blindsided. I remember, I think it was last game or 2 games ago, it was first and third late, and we couldn't allow another run, so I was thinking, we made a mound visit with our pitching coach, and I told him to put on a certain play for first and third, but I didn't even think that we'd be playing infield in, so that was kind of pointless to tell the guys that, and just, that's why thinking ahead is everything as a coach and a manager. You want to be able to just let your players play and make sure that they are set in the right direction, and now that's my job, so I try and think ahead as much as possible, but every once in a while you get caught off guard, and with a good staff around you, they make sure that everything's covered.
You've spoken a lot in other interviews about preparation. What kind of preparation do you have the guys go through on a daily basis?
So that's something that I pride myself on, thanks to the other coaches that I've had. Myself and our hitting coach, we dissect the starting pitcher a lot, making sure where he's throwing, what his fastball is going to look like, the velocity, what he goes to with 2 strikes and everything, so we can make sure our players have a really simple plan to commit to. Pre-game, I usually take the infielders. We have a very specific drill set for each player and per position, and so I call it just individual player progressions. We work through it, try and push guys through. For example, I have a guy that his weakness is his thumb down double play feed from second base. And so every day I started out at 5 steps away from him, and we were just working on it, making sure. And then once he got 5, next day I would go 6. And we've been up to 11 steps now. And when you count out 11 big strides, it's pretty far. And the fact that 3 weeks ago he was only able to do it consistently from 5 steps away, that's the kind of things that I strive for in the development. And then preparing as hitters, we hit velo, so we hit off the machine pretty often here. We'll hit curveballs in the cage. Sometimes we go live arm on the field, depending on who's pitching. We try and match if someone's got a pretty good sinker from the right side, we'll put the machine a little off to the right and adjust the dials accordingly so it has a little bit of sink to it, instead of just velo machine, which happens a lot, especially in high school. They'll just be a completely straight fastball, but you're not preparing yourself to hit the pitcher you're going to face today. So we try, and I was reading an article the other day where the third time through the order, guys usually get to the starting pitcher. And so what we try and do with the machine, at least to their fastball, because that's what we're most worried about hitting, is if we can match their fastball characteristics and where they're going to throw it in batting practice, we can try and eliminate the first and second time through the order. So now their first at, we can do that in BP, and then their first at bat in the game kind of feels like their third time through the order, and now they've got more comfortability and they feel like they've seen it before, and now they can have more success.
So preparation equals comfort.
Exactly. If you prepare well, that was the first thing I told these guys once I took over. All I ask for is that you prepare well and you prepare correctly in order to have fun competing on the field. Because if you're feeling any kind of unpreparedness on a daily basis, you're thinking about things that you shouldn't be thinking about at the plate or in the field, and that just hinders your success. So we try and make sure these guys are ready to go every day so that they can ultimately have fun and get some knocks and get some wins.
So for a kid coming up right now, maybe Little League, maybe Bantam, maybe going into PBL, JPBL ball, what kind of advice would you have?
Honestly, if you're serious about something, for me, it's all about keeping your head down and working hard and having fun while you're doing it. There's way too many people right now that are obsessed with the Twitter and Instagram and just getting likes about their cage bombs or whatever. It's not about that. If you do things the right way, if you work your butt off and you just keep your head down and help the people next to you, things will work out for you. Especially now, maybe not back in the day in Canada because exposure was so hard to get, but nowadays, if you're good enough, people will talk about you. That's just how it is, and I firmly believe in that. You don't have to necessarily market yourself all day long on Twitter and talk about how awesome your game is. Just let your play talk for yourself and work hard and have fun in what you're doing, and everything will usually take care of itself.
So, last question. If you could make the MLB All-Star Game as a starting second baseman or the manager, which one would you choose?
Well, I should probably say the manager because I don't have a shot to be the starting second baseman anymore, so I will definitely say the manager. And because being able to be a part of such an awesome environment, say down the road of you've got the best players in the world and you're able to just be a fly on the wall and see how they handle their business and what makes them successful, I feel like as a manager or a coach, you can gain so much just from watching successful people and taking mental notes about how they're going about what they're doing and what's making them good at their craft. And then after that, going to your players and trying to emulate what they're doing. And so yeah, definitely a manager.
I think I'd want to play. Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right, thank you. This has been Lewis Boyd of the Everett Aquasox and the Seattle Mariners organization. Thank you for your time. Good luck.